have my colleague here, Juan Gonzalez. He is here in the background, so he's going to be able to manage our chat box and respond to you all in real time as well. So Ed System Center, who are we? And so our mission is to shape and strengthen education and workforce systems to advance racial equity and prepare more learners for productive careers. And so we have three main focus areas. The first focus area is creating bridges to post-secondary opportunities. And then, of course, college and career pathways and data impact and leadership. And so one thing that is really cool about our organization is that we are statewide and we work with various community networks. So what you see here on the page right now is a visual representation of what a good state pathway model looks like. So all the way to your far left, you'll see squares that represent individual planning, career-focused instruction, work-based learning, and core academics. So individual planning are those moments where students are able to really reflect and think about what their plans are for the future. So that may include some financial planning, some thinking about like future goals, career options. Career-focused instruction are those particular courses that are within a particular industry area. And so when we think about work-based learning, those are those work experience that students are able to obtain during their high school career. And then core academics are those general education courses that students generally take in high school as well. And so at the top here, we'll see a line or arrow that points from secondary to post-secondary pathway. And then right below that, you'll see an increase of responsibility in terms of different types of career functions. So there are internships, there are low-skilled jobs, semi-skilled jobs, all the way to and through advanced skilled jobs. And then right along that particular continuum, you'll see credentials. There are stackable credentials to and through a bachelor's degree. And so all of these experiences here lead to what we hope, of course, is a credential attainment that meets a particular labor market threshold for our students. Again, here are some additional pathway state policy context that kind of is the foundation for this work here. And the slide deck should be linked in the chat box. So if you want to follow along with the presentation, or if there are things that you want to click on, because some of the links here are linked to particular websites as well. So please utilize that as a resource today and even beyond today. And so one thing I just want to touch bases on, which is a part of this work, is the Post-Secondary Workforce Readiness Act. It was signed by our governor in 2016, and there are 4 components. The main component that we're going to talk about today is the College and Career Pathway Endorsement on High School Diplomas. And so this is a particular stamp that students receive after completing various requirements. And so we're going to talk about what those requirements are here shortly. And so some things that is important to note, right? HB 3296, which is huge in terms of PACE and also the College and Career Pathway endorsements. And so those particular districts that are serving students from 6th grade to 12th grade must either opt in or opt out of implementing the local form of PACE by 2025. And then with regards to the College and Career Pathway endorsements, those students or those districts that are serving students from 9th grade to 12th grade must either opt in or opt out to offering the College and Career Pathway endorsement by 2025. So one thing I want to note is that to opt out is a very difficult process that districts have to participate in if they don't want to participate in this particular initiative. And so the biggest takeaway that I want you to think about is, or note, is that by 2025, many districts are going to be participating in a College and Career Pathway endorsement. So that means that they're going to be increasing their amount of dual credit course offerings by that particular time. And so by class of 27, each institution have to offer at least 1 endorsement. by class of 29, 2, and then by class of 31, 3. And so state agencies, of course, are responsible for supporting the implementation of PACE and college and career pathway endorsement. And so I've talked a lot about this college and career pathway endorsement. You're probably thinking like, what is it? What does it mean? What are the components? So what you see here is the framework itself. And so earlier when I showed you the state, our state model, there were bullets to the side. So here is a more in-depth definition of what those little boxes were. So individualized planning, again, financial planning, resume, personal statements, professional learning. This is where we engage in work-based learning opportunities to prepare students for the workplace itself. And then we think about those career-focused instructional courses. And so the requirement is that students complete at least 6 hours of early college credit. And then lastly, an important component of this endorsement is that students are ready for non-remedial coursework in reading and math by high school graduation. And so this requirement normally requires a partnership with the local community college. So all of these experiences here culminate to a stamp on the high school diploma, which is called the College and Career Pathway Endorsement. And so here are all of the industry sectors that a student could receive an endorsement in listed here. And so one thing that is important to note is that those students who earn this particular credential are college, career, and life ready. And so the rationale behind that is that they are receiving foundational skills for all careers. And so these particular skills are generally embedded within the high school experience through work-based learning and through some of the courses that they are getting experience in. And so students will have familiarity with problem solving and also the workplace itself. Secondly, the college and career pathway endorsement accelerates a student towards a particular career area. So students can simultaneously have access to an entry-level job within the industry and earn a post-secondary major or earn credits within a particular post-secondary major due to the career-focused instructional courses. And so the work-based learning experience further confirms a commitment to a particular industry sector because there is an increase in skill and increase in employability skills that students receive as a result of participating in various work-based learning experiences. And of course, these courses go beyond the traditional the traditional high school and CTE industry credentials. And then lastly, these students are academically ready for college. So again, they've successfully completed 6 credit hours or more of college credit, and they are college ready in terms of math and English. And so here I just want to show you a map of all of the districts that are participating in the college and career pathway endorsement at this point, up until this point. So as of today, there are about 215 plus districts in Illinois that are seeking to implement the endorsement. And then also something that's important to note is that over 1,000 endorsements have been issued for this particular academic year. And so cultivating community college currency within the college and career pathway endorsement. And so now that we know that high school districts are really encouraged to participate in this initiative, we want to think about how do we support our community colleges in participating as well. And so we have created an initiative where we are creating or supporting community colleges to create various currency options for student participation. So of course, currency is defined as like an exchange of goods or an exchange of things. So through the use of philanthropic funds, we've created an initiative that support community colleges who essentially want to maximize currency and benefit for students who are earners of the College and Career Pathway Endorsement. So what that means is that these institutions were able to take time to think about how can they further incentivize the endorsements when students arrive onto their various campuses. So they are creating unique opportunities to support these students, which may include but are not limited to additional funding, additional supports, scholarship opportunities, et cetera. And so through these philanthropic funds, we've created a grant process. And so the purpose of this grant process and offering currency is to increase secondary enrollment in college and career pathways, particularly in underrepresented industry areas. And of course, we want to increase the number of students who complete secondary pathways, earning a college and career pathway endorsement and industry credential, and then increase student matriculation into post-secondary programs, and of course, particularly within community colleges, and then develop currency and value of the college and career pathway endorsement itself. And so our grant expectations is the community colleges that we work with publish their currency for students to see it and have access to it, and also publish it with their local school districts. We encourage our institutions to think about how can they continue to create more pathways within the college and career pathway endorsement. There is also a process where institutions were required to submit an equity pathway plan, which consists of thinking more critically about inequities within pathways, whether it's race, gender. Institutions will define that for themselves, but more importantly, they'll think about strategies on how to address some of those concerns that they have in terms of access for students. And then lastly, there were some technical assistance that we provided in helping institutions think through what these currency options could be. And so as a result of that, we offered various community of practices where we would dive deep into those options as well. And so here on this slide, this kind of outlines some of the currency options that were available. And then here linked at the top, there's a blog post called Strengthening Student Currency, Early Adopters of College and Career Pathway Endorsement. Please feel free to check it out. It kind of takes a deep dive into some of the options that our partners were exploring. And of course, we talked about tuition and stipends and scholarships. Job placements for those particular students were offered by one of our partners. Additional support like special orientation for college and career pathway endorsements, additional faculty hours and tutors for these students, and then lastly, advanced placements or points towards a particular selective enrollment program, whether that be within nursing or other programs as well. And then here, I just want to take a deep dive here just to kind of show you our 7 partners who were our early adopters for this initiative. And so I'm going to link in this presentation, I'm going to literally just click on some of their currency documentation here. So here's Sauk Valley Community College. And so this is like a plugger that they would post around their institution or have their counselors send out to their particular students. And so it just outlines the program and some of the offerings that they are that are available for students. And then here, Shawnee, they outline some currency options within their particular website so that nursing students understand what the pathway endorsement is and what some of the offerings are. Then lastly, I'm going to show you Joliet Junior College. And so one thing that's pretty innovative, Joliet Junior College, they are offering tuition waiver for all students in any industry sector. Any student who completes the college and career pathway endorsement, will also earn 1 3 credit hour course. Again, which decreases the time to completion for our students and also, gives them a financial incentive as well. So I just want to talk about best practices for those who are maybe thinking about this type of option within your particular industry or district. Some of the best practices here are to leverage feedback and support from various community partners, whether internal or external. In our experience, institutions who worked with their industry partner, their high school districts, and other partners, to really think about the various options that they had a better output, whether that be additional funding, scholarship funding, or, just thinking through how could they better support students from that lens was extremely helpful. Another best practice that this process should be fluid. It should be reviewed and evaluated for continuous improvement. And so we don't expect this to be a one-time deal. Our expectation is that our partners will continuously think about how to provide currency for our college and career pathway endorsement earners throughout our state. Again, because this process is being rolled out on a year-to-year basis with it, when institutions or school districts are increasing the amount of pathways offered. So our expectation is that our college partners are continuously thinking about how can they do increase the currency options available. Of course, center student voice when possible. One thing I think is important is to really ask students, what do they want? What will be a good incentive for them to kind of critically think about this work? Primarily because the focus of the college and career pathway endorsement is students. So if we could prioritize that, that's amazing. Then, of course, really think through those particular incentives that decrease a student's time to completion, um, meaning like providing funding for students, waivers, or additional supports, whether that be tutoring, increased office hours, whatever that looks like, or whatever has, is represented as the best need for your student is important to think about. And then lastly, marketing these options for students, making sure that they understand and know what is available to them, because once they know, that is going to encourage them to really think about how can they earn the college and career pathway endorsement while they are in school. And so here we've talked about some of the options that are available from our partners, but here are some options that are available statewide to all students, no matter what community college they attend. And so in the industry sector of education, there's the Golden Apple Scholarship and also the Minority Teacher of Illinois Scholarship. And so those college and career pathway endorsement earners in education are eligible for these particular types of scholarships. And not only are they eligible, but they're further incentivized to apply for these opportunities as well. Those students who earn the college and career pathway endorsement in manufacturing are also further incentivized through this particular scholarship opportunity for them. And then on the community college front, Illinois Community College Board is advocating to allow for those, or to encourage those institutions that are applying for additional funding to think through how they are going to provide currency as like a requirement to receive those types of funds from ICCB. And so I just want to pause and just take some time for some reflections here. Is there any thoughts that are circling in your mind? If there are anything that we talked about that kind of squares your thinking, or if there's one or more points that you all have taken away from this discussion, I'd love to hear more. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and then allow for those thoughts and ideas to bubble up if there are any. So thoughts that are circling in your mind, a thought that maybe squares your thinking, or any questions or points that you have that you'd like to share. Did you have a question, Juan?
Yeah, I just had a thought. One thing that in talking to some community colleges who have been partnering with their local school districts around pathways, some anecdotal evidence I've seen is that when they increase access to dual credit in a certain pathway sector, like education or manufacturing, there is down the line increased enrollment at that community college and in that major. So there's some kind of opportunity of driving interest through pathway collaboration with a local high school district. And then that interest results in increased enrollment at the community college for that particular major. Um, and that the currency or the benefits to students could either further augment that benefit and that enrollment as well. So that's something that I think that as a community college, as you're thinking about driving enrollment in particular majors or occupational sectors, this I think could be a very helpful and strategic use of resources and collaboration.
Perfect. Well, for those who are here, please know that Juan and myself are available for any questions that you all may have. And you all should have access to the presentation slides. So if you want to reach out to us to, partner or to think about how you can create currency, we are definitely open to that conversation as well. So we'll hang out for maybe a minute or two. But for those of you, we appreciate your time and we thank you so much for joining us today.